Okay, so I wanted to retell a story that only the last 5 minutes of it was recorded, and it's a video a couple back, and how weird shit is, right? And how the physical reality somehow is teaches us things. So Snowflake, here, let me turn off this Bluetooth. Uh, oh, I guess it's off. So, badass Snowflake, he's only got one thing that he's not allowed to do in here, and that's to piss on things. Otherwise, it's gonna piss me off. As his goddad, his uncle, right? We have the best relationship, but and the only female pussy is in here. The only room in the house that he can't go into is here. Well, so I didn't let him come in for like a week, and he sits at the door, and he'll fucking bang on that mother and howl at the door. Let me in, let me in, let me in. And I've taught him a couple times. As soon as I see him do something wrong, you know, I don't like hitting animals, and I don't really. But goddamn, you gotta teach him somehow, right? And so the couple times, immediately he does it, smack him, and run his ass out of the room, lock him out. So he wasn't able to come in for a week. He's all sad about it. But as soon as I come out of the room, he's following me around like a puppy dog. He's waiting for me to get home, all this, you know. But then he's locked out. So I let him in yesterday. I'm like, all right, you come in. And immediately he walks over to the other side of the room, the family room. Yeah, I'm the only one that doesn't have my own room, but it's twice as big as anybody else's. I haven't used the other half, the other 2/3 really. And because it's shared space and it's not a place anybody can go to run away, you know, but everybody has their own room to run to and doesn't need another room. So it's all weird like that. But immediately, that mother comes in and pisses on my acoustic guitar case. Like, if there was one thing, you had a best friend, you had kids and a wife, it seems, and you had a great wife, and everything was great, and there was only one thing that would ruin the entire fucking world, and it didn't need to happen, then why would a motherfucker uh, choose to and need an accomplice, and they both try to get away with something behind your back when you probably murder them both? And the kids, what about the kids? What about your relationships? What about the friendship? What about the whole fucking world, right? And inevitably, it seems like that's the one thing that a motherfucker does. And if there's any chance, then you might as well just start by saying hello with a gun to people's heads. It's crazy like that, right? Why does that happen so much in the world? People do things like that. And so, oh, yeah, so to finish the thing about the screen, well, this monitor, this television's way too big anyway, but my laptop screen's busted. And so then I have to have it hooked up to another one. My brother gave me this one, but it's already fucked up all the way across the bottom. It was too close to like some magnets or some speakers or something. I don't know. And so the whole bottom of it's like blobbed, and so you can't see hardly any of the bottom except for the clock. The numbers are exactly in a spot, and you can see the icons, but it's difficult. It's ironic that the only spot that the clock is exactly in between a black spot, so that's cool. It didn't cover the clock. Irony. So I get up to go smack him and kick him out of the room, and this monitor's too big; it doesn't fit up there. But I'm gonna get a new one here in a couple weeks anyway. A dual monitor, it's the right size, and this is stupid how. So I get up and I end up bumping the keyboard tray, and the screen falls. I just got a full cup of coffee, a whole mason jar full of ice water, and the monitor comes down, hits that shit. The coffee sloshes, about a third of it ends up on the desk, but didn't damage nothing. The mason jar ends up on the floor, busted. Just a little square out of the corner. It hit the ground and just one little plunk popped out and then leaked out the corner. Like weird. And so right under my feet, it's all wet. The monitor fault hit all that shit. Ended up on my chair. And nothing happened to it. It was just fine. Except for the screen popped out along the top. If I would have just left that shit alone. But no, I had to go and try to fix it. And so as I'm trying to fix it and push it in, click. I ended up doing it. I fucked it up. And so, but it's ironic how the breaks happen. Is what I was saying, how it's a 3, 1, 2, 3. But then there's a fourth one that's apart off to the side. And it's just perfectly laddered in a divine pattern. But it looks pretty damn cool. And it's out of the way. Other than there's one tab I can't freaking click. And inevitably, almost always, the one that I need to close is always right there now. Stupid. But look at this shit. So there's 1, 2, 3 cracks. But that are concentric. Then you got 1 and 2. But there's actually 3. A third one here. Of that. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1 apart from over there. That's pretty wicked. I like that. And then the way this comes down bleeds, but then you got these 2 lines, red and green. And I counted this shit out. I think it's 23. 24? Hey, it's 25. It's 2025. This ain't that crazy. Everything's a pattern. And that's why everything had to previously be broken in order for it to get into alignment. It all comes back to the spiritual. And somehow there's this staggering up to the line of awakening and this staggering on the way out. At the same time as, well, for instance, every time you get fucked up, well, you're just fucked up, you're just but you're coming up. But then there's like some kind of tipping point at where you're like, what's a blackout? You're just fine. And then there's a skip. And then you wake up and then you're like, how do I get on the floor? Or how do I get home? I don't remember driving. Oh shit. Who was in control? But that's the weird thing, how the subconscious is supposed to be part of the body before the ego, the mind of who we are. Like most of the time when people drive, it's amazing how the subconscious is doing all the driving, really. Once you've done it, it knows what it's doing, and because it knew through fear and how big of trouble or how bad it hurt when you're in an accident or whatever previously. And so it knows, your subconscious knows it's life and death. At the same time as we get bored driving, or we just wanted to go somewhere, but everything's new, right? And so why would we get bored? And you need something to do with your hands. But that's what the steering wheel's for. So that's weird, right? So everybody's messing with the radio, eating, drinking, smoking, talking to somebody, looking all over the place. How the fuck does anybody get from point A to point B? It's a fucking miracle. But then at the same time, sometimes the subconscious will carry us from point A to point B when there's no possible way we should have made it. And then other times, it's like we're just fine. And then there's a fucking gap, and you're like, how the fuck did that happen? I don't know. I tripped over my own fucking feet. Sober, you know. It doesn't even have to be screwed up. And then bam, then you get hurt. Like, what? Why is everything connected? And how is everything separate? And who's driving this shit if it's not us? But that's the reality of things. Of everything trying to get into alignment. Because it is and it isn't like, I can't think of what it's called, but the image where you got the monkey turning, transforming in several pictures into the man with the tools. But the monkey can use tools too. And then why are all these changes in between? But then you look at nature, and chimpanzees are chimpanzees, and apes are apes, and humans are humans. And why we got all these different kinds of horses and dogs? But then where's the gap in between of the changes? That's what's amazing. When, like for instance, history, you can see that there's an evolution going on at the same time as you see each in a snapshot of one dynasty or one president's ruler's reign. And like, yeah, what's this doomed to repeat it thing when every person's life ends up having this certain evolution at the same time as it's each person's is the same and completely different. And some people never wake up to see the other side, and then there's some that do but don't evolve, and then there's some, why are all these different versions at the same time as how can it be corrected if everything's been broken up? But it had to be broken up in order for it to divide itself to get back to one. For there ever to be the one that we all were, apart from. And why do we have to go? To see the image. To get ourselves. Why did we get separated out? in order to get that. And then once we get that, now we're holding everybody apart from holding anybody, but we have everything that they need. And apparently they didn't need us in order for us to end up so destitute or whatever caused it to happen. At the same time as we all need each other. And everyone's important. But those that have, you'd think that they'd have enough to share so that no one would get split out. But then they're at a dead end, obviously, and insecure, trying to hold it away from everybody. And the likelihood of everything coming back around to be together after somebody awakes is highly unlikely. And so then them and the family's all trying to chase the one, but using the one apart from the one. And then the ones that got split out are everyone with no one, and the only ones with anything extra worth giving and having to do it without. Well, those with enough can get anything they want, but it's never enough, and they ain't got nothing new to offer. So that's just about splits in reality. Some things to consider for what it's worth.